With JJK and My Hero ending, we're looking forward to a new era of anime. And the problem is that we don't know what to watch. So today we have a guest with us, Augie, Anime Augie. Thank you for coming onto the
I looked at the
podcast.
wrong camera for a second, but we're good.
Oh shit.
What would you have at the top of your list in terms of anime that are going to replace the currently watchings of JJK, My Hero, and even Demon Slayer, which is coming to an end?
So, does it have to be anime? Because I mean, the number one hitter on my list is Kagurabachi.
Anime and soon to be anime.
Soon to be anime, Kagurabachi. Soon anime, Dandadan.
Very soon anime.
Very soon.
Very, very soon. Especially with a few videos that have kind of done well since I think JJK's ending got announced. Kagurabachi's been in a lot of news. Especially for our non-reading folk on the podcast.
River.
Could you, off the top of your head, just give a quick synopsis to what you think Kagurabachi is going to do for, anime fans that are going to feel a void in their heart from JJK and.
I feel a void in your heart.
I think that's a good way of putting it. It is going to fill that void. I think it is going to give you everything you need that JJK had and My Hero had, and it's going to be that next step up. They're passing the baton. JJK in the next 4 chapters now.
Yeah, I think it's 4 left.
4 left. They're gonna pass that baton to Kagurabachi. Because what else? Honestly, what else in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine really is there? Undead Unluck, but
Sakamoto
as well. Yes, but I do want to get into that. I think Sakamoto Days' anime won't be anything too crazy. I think it'll be like a Chainsaw Man first anime kind of situation where the manga was really well, but the anime kind of was it didn't really do too much for the manga. Compared to like a JJK season 1, compared to a My Hero Academia season 1.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
2.
I think getting into that comparison, I can see where you're coming from. There's definitely shout out to Skrillet in the live stream right now on twitch.tv/The Flow Anime Podcast. Sakamoto Days being made by TMS definitely has its concerns. Definitely brings up some concerns.
That's kind of what I was mentioning.
Yeah. And even with the comparison of Chainsaw Man, I think, of course, anything written by Fujimoto is going to have some caveats and some interestingness to the comparison. Chainsaw Man was in limbo because of the part 2 shit and whatever the fuck, let alone accessibility. Because and also I think that, to be honest, most of the people who want to binge Chainsaw Man, they did it in 2020. They did it in 2021. Yep. So you, and you're right. The anime didn't drive those sales back up. I think a majority of the sales that happened this year and last year is just people that are already reading part 2 or people who caught up during COVID. And the reason why I still have hope for Sakamoto, especially in comparison to something like Kagurabachi, is because I don't know if what people are going through right now is real in terms of people having this craze for more complex characters in shonen and being oh my god, this is just a copy of Naruto, this is just a copy of Bleach. And so I'm kind of worried whether or not that's going to be levied to Kagurabachi as much as it's levied to the JJKs, the Demon Slayer. And granted, it hasn't slowed down Demon Slayer JJK success at all, but I don't know if Kagurabachi is going to be able to surpass those boxes that some people try to put it in.
I think in terms of the simplicity, giving at least towards the West, because I think the problem with Chainsaw Man is that it's more of a series for the Eastern audience. And I think it just didn't perform as well in the West, even being promoted by Crunchyroll, even being done by MAPPA. I can't give you any statistics. I don't know the statistics by heart, but I just know from someone who's daily on the internet, who is servicing Twitter, who's always keeping up with all this kind of stuff, the motion Chainsaw Man had compared to a JJK was night and day. It just wasn't. I think it's just a series that was just done better in the manga. But I think what Kagurabachi has is that it has all those prerequisites in terms of the basics. It is a simple swordsman. We're going to get swords. We're going to get flashy things. It kind of reminds us of a Demon Slayer. Kind of reminds us of a JJK and put into one. in terms of like the earlier parts of the story. I'm on like only chapter. I think I'm like 20 something. I'm not caught up to it, but I know it is about to hit 50. And I said when it gets 50, like that's when I'm fully gonna catch up because that's usually
it's safe.
If you
like it's not good.
Yeah, it's safe when it hits like 50 chapters or so. Even though I'm pretty sure Samurai 8 was like 55. So whatever a chapter is before after Samurai 8, yeah, they only let that in because Kishimoto.
Because this is Kishimoto.
It was Kishimoto, which I heard he was. I heard that he's making another series, but I also heard he was doing some other stuff.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know what's. I don't know. I don't know what's right or wrong.
Weekly Shonen Jump or something.
All right. Well, we. Are you talking about the interview shit?
I heard some very some allegations.
Just since we're on the topic, I want to debunk this. So apparently, the translation, the person who shared the translation, did it wrong because what they said he called like.
Okay, well, what did he initially say, and then what did he actually say?
They said that like he said that like Sarada was like sexier the way that she was drawn.
Right?
Who's they?
I don't know. Someone on Twitter.
Okay, so I'll go into this. From what I know, translator on Twitter said that Kishimoto said during an interview with the mangaka, right, of Rurouni Kenshin. Was he with? Or was
I don't think he was. No.
No. My bad. He was with Ikimoto. Yeah, I mean that's already a bad look on its own. My bad. I was reading. I'm thinking about another thing. He was with Ikimoto, the other illustrator and writer for Boruto.
For Boruto, right? Yeah.
For Boruto. And then he said he likes how Sarada is dressed at the age of 16. She is, or something like that. She looks sexy, or something like that. That's what the mistranslation was. What was the actual translation?
He actually said that she looks cool. But in Japan, apparently, like the words are like similar, so like it makes sense how they mistranslated it. But yeah, he actually said cool. Apparently, apparently the person who initially tweeted the tweet deleted the tweet and stuff. So like that kind of I feel like confirms that it was.
That man got hate
so
fast.
Was that in that same interview that they said that he was? But what about the next series? Is that like Is that something was during that interview, or was that something that
I think it was the same interview, if I'm not mistaken.
Speculation, or people just
I'm about to say the thing that I saw about him doing another series was speculation, but also in the same like thread, I saw people speculating that he was a part of the same committee with Kubo about like basically like check marking and axing series out the magazine and whatnot. Not Kubo. Toriyama was doing that before he died. But
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Shout out. But yeah, so I don't. When it comes to anything Kishimoto, I don't know what the nigga's up to.
Yeah, he did say. He said something though.
To be honest, it would be great to see him part of like the committee. Like I know Jump has their thing where they have My Heroes mangaka Kubo, Gege, and I forgot Black Clover's mangaka's name, but they're going to be basically a part of a committee. Yeah,
right. I know what you're talking about.
A competition of like who's going to be the next manga in Jump, or at the very least like a one. I think it's going to have a chance at a one shot.
They've done something very similar in the past before, I believe. I don't know if it was Weekly Shonen Jump, but I know that I think around like 2020 there was actually one time they did it, and it was for a series that was, I believe, badminton or something very similar. It wasn't Blue Box, but it was another series very similar to the concept of what Blue Box was, without the romance, without the something like that. That was like in the poll of it. There was definitely a mixture of series that was in that, but I can't think of anything that's actually still in the magazine that was from that time. That was from that, because everything now is like again, the only reason why I say I think Kagurabachi is like the only thing that's really gonna hit is because I think I just get that Demon Slayer kind of feeling from it, but with the fandom of what JJK has already had, because once JJK is over, they're just hopping ship to Kagurabachi, and I've been seeing a lot of people say that already. So they're already kind of like, with how things are ending, people are already like, this is a mixed review ending, which is What a surprise! Like, wow, it's a shonen manga is ending with a potential bad ending, and people are getting upset.
What?
No,
Oh
it
my
is.
god!
You know,
My children's book isn't peak fiction. Jesus Christ! Like, come on,
Yeah.
bro. You gotta stop.
Which personally, I actually was behind 10 chapters literally just the other day, and I just read it all. And I like the stretch that I read personally. I didn't have too much of a problem with it. I just think there are definitely a lot of things that JJK is ending to where it's like, damn, I wish a lot of these things kind of got fleshed out a little bit more.
Ramped up. Yeah.
But there was definitely a few things within that pool of things that need to get explained that really just can be like, you give a couple pages.
Okay,
Doesn't mean
so
to be anything
it could
crazy.
still happen, kind of thing.
It could still happen. Yeah, I mean, they're already knocking out a few of them within the last 2 when they announced that it was ending in 5. So I think there's a couple things that people are getting questions answered to. And I think we just need to wait till it ends, personally.
Yeah, it'll be telling the last few chapters. I'm not a weekly reader of JJK. I will be honest, but especially with sadly how much I am on the internet, it is almost impossible for me to miss.
Oh yeah, you are basically reading weekly. You're getting the synopsis weekly.
to be completely
that's kind of what I meant. Like I knew exactly everything that was going on and the timing of events, but I didn't read the actual like from start to finish last 10 chapters. So I did that.
And so I'm definitely in that boat. Yeah, it's horrible to spoil it. Anyway, the discourse around
I'm not too big on that conversation of spoilers being like the craziest thing. I feel like the only thing I don't want to get spoiled on is One Piece. Everything else I really just don't care for that much.
Well, that's one of the big two.
It depends person to person.
One Piece.
I don't personally care either. Like I just spoiled myself on basically the next 100 chapters of Oshinoko. And I'll probably forget it by the time the next season comes out. When it comes to JJK, I agree with you. The things that are happening, like, I don't find to be the worst. But that's also because, like, it's in line with what Gege writes. Gege's priority in, especially the last 2 arcs, from my understanding, has been making the conflict as all coming as it can be, as involved as you can make all the side characters, as much powers, as much as you can expand the power system, as much layering as he can do in terms of setting up, oh, this character has this cursed spirit or has this domain that, you know, we saw 100 chapters ago during the culling games that can be retroactively or just like taken into this and like, okay, now they can play a part in defeating Sukuna or doing something with Yuji or whatever the fuck.
One of the biggest problems though with JJK specifically is that it does all the and I think people have talked about this before on the internet. I've seen one person in particular definitely talk about this. But all the problems JJK has is where like My Hero excels in, vice versa. And I think in terms of like the latter half of the manga, I think, yes, I don't mind what's going on in JJK right now, but I do think that if we had Horikoshi be like, hey, maybe do it this way, that way, or like this for this particular thing, and I don't want to spoil, but I think it could have been executed a lot better. It wasn't, and I think it's also a very similar problem to what people kind of felt with Bleach and its ending. It felt a little rushed, and it felt like not as, I guess, better word for it would be like just epic. It didn't feel as epic as like JJK kind of has been this entire series, but I think the anime will pick up, and people, it's kind of like AOT where people didn't like AOT's ending manga, and then when the anime, they're like, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
So I think the anime will definitely bring it up to a notch, and I think it's just one of those things where yes, the manga of JJK is great. I do think just the anime is the ultimate version. Same thing with AOT, where I think it's just the ultimate version of it. And same could be with, I wouldn't say the same could be with Bleach, but I do think the 1,000 Year Blood War, he will go back and fix a lot of things within the 3rd core or in the finalized core. I think it'll be 4 cores, right? 3 or 4? I don't remember. But
I think 4 would make sense.
I think 4 would make sense as well. Yeah. So I think they'll polish some things that the manga definitely people were concerned about with the final arc of Bleach.
Yeah,
that's something.
I was gonna say I feel like they already had kind of started to do that a little bit from what I've heard. Like it's a little bit more polished even already. So
yeah, there's definitely things that even in the light novels they had never in the manga, never at all. For example, Shinji's Bankai, that was never in the manga, but it was something only in the light novel, and it's like for people that don't want to like read words and like look at pictures. Yes, we've seen a few pictures of Shinji's Bankai, but never like what they did in the anime. So when I saw that, and he's like one of my favorite characters, like probably number 2 or 3. So when I saw that, I was like, yes, this is fire. This is dope.
Oh shit. What's it called? Yeah, no, I was gonna add that I had recently learned because I only read JJK from a certain point on in the manga. So I didn't like go back to reread like what I had seen in anime form. But I had heard that like there's quite a few things that the anime has already done to flesh out in oh my god, Shibuya that wasn't in there originally. And I was like, really? Wow. Because I had read like part of Shibuya, but at times I can have a horrible memory. I just saw this sales comparison.
I read JJK when it was coming out weekly during Shibuya, so I don't remember exactly what you're referring to. When I saw the anime, it was just, and that's another thing. I don't really like going back and reading the manga when the anime is literally right around the corner. It's because I can just get that new experience from the anime. So I guess the things you're referring to, I don't remember in specific, but I mean, it's like at least the Blu-ray version with Sukuna and Maharaga, like they did not need to do all that, and they could do that for the future battles.
Yes.
To be insane, and that's kind of my whole point. If they can do that level of just for Sukuna and Maharaga, which wasn't even that crazy in the Shibuya in the manga, at least in my opinion, compared to other fights and moments, they can easily execute the end of that. But that's another thing as well. When when mangas end, companies stop carrying as much. Like they just stop because like the whole point of it is for mangas or for animes to promote the manga. But if the manga's over, it's like, okay, let's either Promise Neverland, for example, like the manga ended season 2, or just like, whatever. But I don't think that'll be the case for. I definitely don't think that'll be the case for JJK. My Heroes kind of made a comeback within its anime. They definitely stepped it up a notch, I feel like, compared to its previous seasons. But who knows? Who knows what will happen in
season 8?
Yeah, it could fall off there, and they just stop carrying.
Just to put a pin in the needle in terms of the Kagurabachi, will take the spot of JJK in terms of readers' minds of what action show they're going to flock to next. This is a sales comparison between Kagurabachi's first 3 volumes and other notable
Mashal. What the fuck?
mainstays. Mashal's been
Big Mashal.
Fuck out of here.
I love
more like
Mashal,
dead
man.
Mashal. More like dead Mashal.
And that actually makes sense because at the start of it, Mashal did have a kick. I wonder why Undead Deluxe not on here, because I feel like Mashal definitely had a good pivot in its first couple volumes, honestly, and it was moving up slowly. Yeah, that makes sense.
And
I love Mashal when it was first coming out, personally. But Kagurabachi,
all of them.
That's that's one of them 1 out of 10 that you just look at like, oh my god.
Truthfully.
I remember when the first chapter of Kagurabachi came out too, and I was thinking.
I remember before the first chapter.
I was thinking, and I was like, I saw that first chapter and his with his moveset and just what he's going to be doing and like how the series is going to be like getting into that swordsman. Like I guess I just kind of amalgamate it to like a mixture of JJK and Demon Slayer's power systems in a way. So I think that alone with its unique art style and its recognizable characters. I do think I'll actually double back on that. I do think a lot of the characters aren't as recognizable, but I do think that can change. Maybe that's just my opinion, but I do think it is going to be I mean, if you agree, you agree. I don't think that it's anything too crazy with its character designs, but
at all.
I like the art style. I think the art style is great. I just think the design of these characters could be a little bit better.
That shit is so ugly to me.
And the art style and the characters?
The characters aren't ugly. I just don't think that they're very unique.
I
but
agree.
I don't think that it makes or breaks your manga. Like Chainsaw Man's character designs aren't necessarily the most unique.
True.
The non-devils specifically. But
I think for a series that is kind of like a battle shonen, you kind of need that differentiate of like you need a. I don't know. I guess like a good example is like the Hashiras. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Especially with like Kaiju number 8 popping off and whatnot. Like you're starting to see, to where, especially with when you have like the agency, quote unquote, or the hunters of whatever. Now Kagurabachi doesn't follow that, but I'm saying if it can work with them, it can work with Kagurabachi.
That's true. And I did just see they got into a new arc, I believe.
That too. I heard that it just started arc 3, I think. At like chapter 44. Yeah.
I did also hear just on the power system. I know TJ, one of the last pods we did, or that might have been the last pod that was uploaded. As of now, we talked about he was heavy on Kagurabachi. He's someone who he writes his manga. He has manga, etc. He was very high on Kagurabachi as well, and like he compared it to like if Demon Slayer powers actually were real instead of not being real.
Yeah, exactly. And not being for the longest time I thought the Demon Slayer powers were actually like real.
Like that's so lame though. Like why not just have
why do you gotta
real?
tell us
like,
that?
Yeah, like facts.
Like it's a manga. Like you can do anything you want, you tell us they're not real? Like why?
That nigga just want to end the series. Yeah.
I ain't getting into no power system. This is just reading sword styles and everything you're seeing is
fake. It's fake. Wrestling's not real. WWE's not real. What's it called? I will say, just for some context on the Kagurabachi, that is nowhere near the top 3 like best-selling first 3 volumes that Jump has. Rui Dragon notably sold like 94,000 copies in its first volume.
So it was cherry picked, basically.
Yeah,
kind of, but I mean, not really. To be honest, like Sakamoto is now one of the like 3 pillars, I guess you could say. It's like One Piece, Blue Box, and Sakamoto. That's the only 3 things that can sell 100K in a month. Until Kagurabachi does in like probably October, November.
I think Kagurabachi will definitely is the only series in my eyes that I think will be like notably Sakamoto Days as well. I just think the anime is gonna ruin its reputation.
Right?
Is it Netflix? It's Netflix, right?
I thought it was. Netflix. It will be on Netflix, actually.
It will be on. It's not. It is not a Netflix anime, but it will be on Netflix.
Yeah, they're licensing.
Got you. I mean, I've just heard from reliable sources that I've like been following over the years that this anime is like not in terms of like stuff they've been seeing. It's just not like anything that's going to be crazy. And again, I think it's just going to be a Chainsaw Man anime kind of thing where it's like. But I really hope. I only think Kagurabachi is like. I mean, if we're talking about stuff outside of Weekly Shonen Jump, I mean, we were talking about sales just a minute ago, and like Kaiju number 8, for example, had a solid first season. I think probably one of the best in that. I didn't watch too much of that core or the what was it? The seasons. Yeah, the season. Oh, yeah. But Kaiju number 8 definitely was same thing. But that series was the fastest growing series to sell 1 million copies in its first volume.
Yep.
So
that's crazy.
I don't know. We're in a weird time. We're in definitely like time during the 90s when like Dragon Ball and Yu Hakusho ended. That's kind of how it feels. Dunk. Like Slam Dunk as well. Yeah.
JoJo's went into some bullshit. I think it was like deep into part 4 or whatever the fuck. And it was like before what had just come into because literally the other day I had just done research on that period in time. First off, Jump, not Dragon Ball, not Slam Dunk. The magazine of like 20 manga was selling 6-7 million copies a week. Total.
A week? Yeah.
A week. During Slam Dunk, Dragon Ball, JoJo's Peak.
I'll be right back.
What else was in there? Something else had just ended in the magazine. But needless to say, during like that 4 to 5 year span, they had 10 series that were being serialized that would end up selling like 50 million lifetime sales.
I haven't read that other series from the Tokyo Revengers creator. I haven't heard nothing about that.
Oh, Astro Royale. I mean,
that still
I don't
going?
think it's on the
Or is
chopping
that
block.
arcs? You don't?
No, I don't think it's on the chopping block.
See, I haven't read most of these series, honestly. I tapped into Kani Banashi like during its first 50 chapters.
Same.
I'm pretty sure that's like a steady series. Same thing
It's
with like
steady, and honestly, it's looking like it'll be number 5.
okay.
If we're saying that One Piece is 1, Kagurabachi will be 2, especially after anime, Sakamoto Blue Box, and then 5 will probably be Akane.
I just think we're gonna get into that period of time where Kagurabachi will build up. Sakamoto Days in the manga, I think the manga is phenomenal. I just think when you're translating it to the anime, to make a good series, I think there's like a formula, or at least a big series where it's like you need to do decently well to not get chopped off. You need to start growing a steady fan base within its manga. You need to get that anime announcement. You need to get that anime release, and you need that anime to do well within its first season. And you do well in its first season, you're gonna start seeing it everywhere. You're gonna start seeing other companies outside of, manga producing companies. You're gonna start seeing clothing companies. You're gonna start seeing a bunch of like multimedia type of things start investing in a series that people will buy, and that's what starts getting like that's where the push forward ads, everything. It's just gonna get in people's faces basically. And I just think Kagurabachi is one of those series that like I got a good feeling about how it's paced within its, especially within its manga, within its fan base. And it's already, again, once JJK is done, you're gonna see all those people hop over.
The migration's happening.
It's already happening right now. People are already upset enough. They're just like, they threw all. I've been seeing people throw away their JJK manga in the trash.
That's so crazy in a burning dumpster.
Yeah,
it's not. It's nowhere.
It's
near
not that serious. It's not that serious either. It's like, bro, like at least like that's just being dumb. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's an
people were doing that with
investment,
AOT too. I remember that when people were doing with AOT.
That was truly stupid because AOT is like we're talking about art that will stand the test of time. Like these are books, these are pieces of media that like have the opportunity. Like if we're saying that AOT expanded how many people watch anime past what Dragon Ball did, do you understand like how valuable the pieces containing that art are for you to like, oh shit, my favorite 30-year-old wrote a bad piece of media. I'm gonna throw it all away. That's so dumb. That's just so dumb.
I just think like, are you really to put in? I don't watch sports, by the way. I'm not a sports person, but I think it's like if you're watching, because Archie brings it up in the chat. LeBron and KD, I was thinking about like if you're watching your favorite team play throughout the entire season and they do well the entire season and then they lose the championships, are you gonna burn your jerseys? Are you gonna like
well Luka fans?
Okay. If there are people that do that, why? But it's like for the most part, normal people wouldn't do that.
Yeah, they're not normal. That's the thing. Now, I hate the fact that it's the not normal people who are posting them burning pieces of manga on line. Crazy. And
I almost burned my. All right. My point. Yeah, this man Archie, bro.
Archie's
that's crazy. Gege committed crimes against humanity. See, I don't.
It wasn't that bad, and it's also not that serious because you have Kagurabachi now. Yeah. Like this is it.
I just think people. I think the take on like having a strong ending is starting to appeal a lot more to me now. Because before it was just like, I'm not gonna. If I have you at a 10, for example, One Piece is at a 10 for me. If it has a bad ending, am I gonna lower it down?
If it was the friends you made along the way, come on.
But it's not the friends I made along the way.
What if it is?
And the thing is, if you are, it's not though. It's not like you have to be caught up to know. The thing is, One Piece is so beautifully. One Piece is so beautifully set up that it's like you have to be like you have to give Oda to someone. You have to give it to someone else to like fuck it up at this point.
Oh,
like he has all of his pieces aligned. I just think that. I mean, okay, in terms of how it actually will end, it could be. Yes, maybe it might affect how I feel about it. But every other piece along the way, that's funny. But every other thing along the way, I think will be. It's already perfectly set up. Like I just don't see it.
I think considering that
there are some issues during its current arc, though. There are some issues during the last arc that I'm not going to glaze fully, but minor, very minor.
Like I feel like considering from what I would have said, he's known the ending for a long time. If he's setting it up this well, it would seem that it would end fine, in theory, right? So like, considering
I don't think
good
I don't
is
know
at,
if he exactly knows, because when I say the ending, I kind of just say like finding the One Piece, because I feel like at the end of the day, once you find the One Piece, it's like, okay, now we're in the epilogue, and now we're kind of ending the story, we're wrapping it up. So like, I guess the big thing is like what you're saying, like the ending is. I think you're referring more to like what the One Piece actually is, and like how the people. Is that what you're kind of referring to?
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah.
I do think I think if you are actively caught up to the series and you've been reading it week to week, at this point we have a very vague idea of like what the whole concept behind of what it is and what it actually will be. And I think if you get like completely shocked by what it is, then you're gonna be like, you weren't reading the same series. We were not reading the same series.
I guess unless he could he not throw a curveball though, you think?
I definitely think there's pieces to the puzzle we have, but we don't have everything. We don't have all the pieces. So I mean, that curveball could be those just extra pieces we need to figuring it out. Not necessarily a complete 180.
If it's a treasure map to a sequel series,
yes, I would obviously be upset. 100%, I'd be upset. 100%, but that would never happen. That is impossible to happen. He's done after this. Imagine writing that series for so long just to write another one.
No, he would give it to his son, Zufi. Let me stop. Alex, you're a reader of one of either JJK, One Piece, or Kagurabachi, right?
Yes. So I was watching One Piece, but I work for somebody, and he makes me edit fucking One Piece videos, and then spoils the shit out of it. And then I get irritated. I'm like, great, I'm fucking 2 arcs behind, and I'm like, great, I'm editing this, and I fucking, because the whole video is like 3 hours. I'm like have to go through it to pick a clip out. I'm watching the whole shit. I'm like, I barely know what's going on right now.
Who do you edit 3 hours worth of One Piece content for?
That guy in the corner. That guy in the corner.
Well, it's not me. It's for Sage, but the thing, because the thing is, like, Alex does the shorts, so like, he just goes and gets the clips. Now we do videos as well. So shout out to Asher.
Shout out to Asher.
I feel
bad.
I don't know how he does what he does, but shout out to him for that.
So yeah. So I'm willing, and I might read it because fuck it, because I'm not gonna rewatch everything because this man is making me fucking edit One Piece videos right now.
But what's crazy too is he's like one of the fastest bingers like ever. So like, we got to deal with that too. Like, I'm on Fishman Island, and like I was originally when he started reacting to One Piece, I was like, towards the end of I was like about to get into Fishman Island, and like he's watched like 300 or so episodes within the time span.
Now, Augie, what he means by watched? He's watching Diavolo videos.
No, he's not.
I was looking at that. You were watching that earlier. River, you were doing that earlier. You were watching a
JJK, but we're talking One Piece.
Well, I mean, no style of videos. He knows.
No, he's not.
Diavolo doesn't.
Yeah,
he's watching the actual anime.
He's actually watching the actual anime.
People actually no, Diavolo is the homie, but people actually watch those videos without reading or watching the series beforehand.
Yes, that's what I was going to do, but like with JJK at least.
That's what Rivers is doing.
That just.
I mean, and trust me, I love Diavolo. I hit him up however long ago to use part of his whatever. I was talking about
that's the homie, bro. I've known him since he was like 2K, 1K subs. So he's crazy. No, he's insane. The way like his work ethic. First of all, is insane.
Yes,
because he basically makes movies and has to. Yeah, it's
and I believe still evades copyright as well.
Tries.
Yeah, it's hard with them companies. I understand it fully
for sure.
But yeah, people do use those type videos as substitutes for reading.
Wow.
With your own.
I feel like you would read it faster. No,
I feel like it's better for content purposes though. That's my thing. Like if you're gonna react to it, I feel like I'd rather react to that than like read.
Even then, there's so many people that just like stream themselves. Tevin streamed himself just reading One Piece,
I think
Yeah, but then that video, the
do you
editing
stream
for that video, you know how much editing was put into the video he posted? I'm not editing that much. Fuck that
Yeah,
shit.
and it did what, like 300K
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do that
on a
editing.
channel that
but
is
like,
not direct like anime content.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you're doing a reaction to it, like, if I was to upload me reading JJK, like a 4 hour long video of me just reading JJK, I feel like no, like it's not gonna hit the same as a reaction to the video.
I think he is right. I think what you're saying is right. However, I do think it would do better if you already had the established platform beforehand, because nobody's gonna want to watch you reading. I think reacting with manga and anime are different because people want to see the actual moment in motion more rather than and get your reaction to that. Yes, but since you're reading a manga and you're reacting to it and you're uploading a 4 hour video of it or whatever you were trying to say, I just don't think it would hit the same unless you already have the background, like the people behind you watching it. Like
Right.
the 300K views, he has that established platform. That's you said Tevin, your bud Tevin.
Yeah. It is different because you're right. He's an established creator,
But
it's
I do
not
think
based
for his
in
size
anime.
though, his size though, it would be better to react to that video because that you have something in motion and you're getting the reaction to that in motion. I guess that would be like the closest thing.
I'm trying to find the video. How long ago did he do that?
Does he do this stuff on his main channel or his second channel?
Yeah, he did on his main channel. He was, to be fair, he was trying to pivot to
Like
just
that.
include more stream content. It did 200K.
But yeah, also how long was the video?
It was 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the entirety of One Piece.
Yeah.
So the editing is crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
there's no way
also,
you're doing
I
your
streamed
job.
until I read all of One Piece. It was a mistake. Oh, we're talking. Okay.
I'm just saying, me personally, I'm not doing.
I mean, the editing in this video is nothing too crazy though,
And it's not too crazy because, like, to be honest, none of the editing.
it's time consuming though. It's definitely time consuming. But even then, just remember the most important moments. Skip over the stuff that's like whatever, and just go throughout there. That's pretty much what he did. He did Arlong Park. Yeah, he did everything that's like,
That's true.
Ace stuff. Yep. Damn, how did he do that? Wait, did he actually do that?
Oh yeah, and he streamed it all, I believe, continuously.
Yeah,
Until he finished reading it.
Until he
Like
finished.
okay, cool. That's dope. That's a dope idea.
Yeah. No, I don't think he did. I think it was over parts. So it looks like I guess he could have showered because he changed shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely was over. It was definitely like a week worth of content, I think. 7 days, yeah.
Yeah, surely.
Hey,
But-
man.
I get it. I get it, especially the content of it all.
I've just seen it work, so that's
Yeah, that too. Which is
bro,
more than fair.
Sage is super videos, man. 200K.
Those videos are actually fire. I actually editing when looking for a clip. I actually watched it on my own spare time.
Wait,
It-
someone in the
anyways.
comments said, not gonna lie, finding the One Piece wouldn't be the end. I think the One Piece is the key to truly changing the world and overthrowing the government or some shit. Yeah, I mean, it is
Possibly,
like just
hopefully.
it is in that range of stuff. Like I feel like if I say anything, it's just gonna spoil, and that's something you do not want to get spoiled on. Like at least the
Facts.
idea of what it could be.
It could be
And,
another Straw Hat. Mega said apparently there was a terminally ill kid who Oda told the ending of One Piece 2 before he died.
That has bull. I think
That's
bull.
insane. by the
I've
way.
heard
I've
that
seen that
over the
meme.
years,
I've seen
but
that meme.
I've heard that over the years. I've never seen any factual statements behind it or anything, like any article or something. I've just heard
Oda
that.
just killed him on the spot.
I feel that's crazy. Yeah, but
There was only a few-
I feel
there was
like
only-
he would know though. Like
There was only officially, I believe, 2 or 3 people outside of Oda that know the story, and one of them is not even his wife. From what I've
Isn't
from
his
what I
best
know.
friend?
It's just his. No, that's like That's like Kentaro Miura and the guy who does it now. But I don't know if it's his best friend, but I know it's his editors, the previous editors, because he had multiple editors over time. And there was one, I believe, probably around the New World, like when New World happened. That was one of them, and then one was in Wano and one was a recent one. So guy in between Wano. So it's either 2 or 3. I could be mistaken on one of those, but I know at least 2 for sure know the ending, or at least what the One Piece.
Oh,
is
that's
actually.
crazy knowledge to just know. Like, imagine just knowing that shit. Like, that's
and
crazy.
one of them said at least in terms of the Japanese audience and like people fan theories and stuff, because I'm assuming he is more involved with the Japanese community since he's the editor for Weekly Shonen Jump, that nobody that he's seen or anything has gotten close to what the actual One Piece is. And that was a couple years ago. But I think now, within
Someone
just
could
the
probably
last
get
couple
close.
years,
Yeah.
I think now we have very, like, again, we have puzzle pieces. We're not working with nothing anymore. You know what I mean? We're working with something.
Is there any recent theories that like you've seen that you feel like, okay, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
That I genuinely can get behind? Yeah, for sure. There's definitely recent things. But it's like, I think you really need to be a One Piece enjoyer, because it will 1000% with like what I feel like was already been building up. It'll 1000% be flamed on by people who don't read the series. Oh, whoa, this is it. That's crazy. Like,
and I hate that culture.
I don't like it either.
Of people like uninvolved, uninvested, just like, oh that shit sucks. Yep. You're garbage. Like, even with like the My Hero shit, like, trust me, on this podcast, I've developed the whole moniker of like the My Hero hater or whatever. Truthfully, I think I have valid criticisms, but it's whatever. But like, even that shit, I dropped My Hero. So when it ended, I don't give a fuck. I don't care to dunk on it or not dunk on it or whatever. Like, I don't care to call Deku a McDonald's worker. Like, that shit is so corny. That shit is truthfully like the corniest thing that you can do on the internet. Not that specifically, but like, you know, just being uninvolved in something, but when you see everyone else dogpiling, just like suddenly grow a ball to care. Like, you don't. I think
there's a difference between like being serious about that and like joking, because like, I mean,
yeah,
with like people that are like saying, oh, he's a McDonald's worker, and then like are just kind of trolling. But you can't never tell on Twitter though. You'll never be able to tell and you'll never be able to tell, because there is definitely a lot of people being serious and there's definitely a lot of people joking.
Because I saw a video.
In a nutshell. That is.
I saw a YouTube video with that as the thumbnail. Well, I saw a few of them, but I clicked on one of them and I'm like, oh, okay. So he's just like, this is probably just a chapter reviewer talking about it. He's like, man, I don't even read My Hero, but I saw this. I saw when the ending dropped. Read it. And like, he's powerless. He's bitchless. He's like a loser. And I knew it the whole time. Now, I haven't seen it in 4 years. But like, I knew it the whole time. I'm like, you're such a virgin. Like, you're just allergic to pussy.
You're such
like, you just no bitches? Don't do anything. Like, and it's so crazy.
Cardiac would know, by the way, like that, because Cardiac's so far from that
please stop.
You would be able to.
Please stop.
Yeah,
you're gonna get me in trouble with so many people.
This phone starts ringing right now.
So many. But yeah, that shit is like so corny. This is the last one I want to read because it'll transition into the next thing.
Okay.
Skrilla earlier said Fern's been serializing for like 4 years now, albeit not new manga wise, as it's nearing the half-decade mark next April. Anime wise, and what it's done for manga, I can reckon it might be the series with the current flame right now, with 20 million in circulation in the latest numbers.
What series?
I'm gonna add Fern.
Oh, okay.
I want to ask, and actually, I'm going to deny that message. Archie, fuck you.
What the fuck?
What's the
I have to go see chat real quick.
Yeah. Do you think that there's a large possibility that for the next crop of people coming into anime, for the first time in a long time, well, and I say that, but Attack on Titan just happened, but for seemingly the first time in a long time, the premiere series that's gonna get people into anime for years and years to come, especially on an action tip, is not gonna come from Weekly Shonen Jump. Like, it's just gonna have to be Kaiju number 8. It's just gonna have to be maybe not even an action series at all, like something like Blue Lock.
I think if Kaiju number 8, I think it would have done that already. I don't think it's gonna be like I don't know how to explain it. I just don't think, like, by the first season, you get that first season jump and you have a already successful manga, like, it should already be the talk of the town. And I think Kaiju number 8, while it did have a solid first season, and the manga, I enjoy the manga. I just don't think it's like that whoa, like, oh yeah, it's a cool series I'm gonna watch and read, but it's nothing like, because when we're talking like new era and stuff, like there's something about like JJK, My Hero, not only because they're in Weekly Shonen Jump, but it's just like those series, especially Black Clover during its earlier years.
Mm-hmm.
I think just had like a different like level of sauce to them, rather than like what Kaiju number 8 is giving right now. And I hope I get that from Don Don, but I think I'm worried about the same kind of level of, like, it's going to appeal more towards the Eastern audience, and there's definitely going to be a lot of Western people that love it, but it's just not going to be that Demon Slayer level of, and that was just a phenomenon. That was like a one-time, that was like the biggest peak. But even still to the level of JJK, My Hero, Black Clover kind of level, I just don't see... My bad. I think I was going off track. What was the original question?
Oh no, you answered. I mean,
am I answering it?
Good.
Yeah, I was saying if you think anything else aside from you got your bets on Kagurabachi.
I got my bets on Kagurabachi just because of how
Alex is in the similar lane.
So. And it can always change with time, but I think it is checking the boxes off right where it's at right now. So if it continues the way it's going, I can see it being that next big thing.
I guess I do feel like from what the original comment from T you had read, in terms of like what did he say again? Hold on.
He's talking about Frieren.
Yeah, Frieren. Yeah. I feel as though like anime that will take a different approach from just the stuff we are getting now in terms of, the shonen hype stuff, JJK, Demon Slayer, then obviously going into Kagurabachi. I don't think we're done with that yet, but I think we are closing in on the point where that's not going to be what's going to hit the same anymore, because I think that the evolution of it is kind of halting as we're seeing. Like, there's not the next thing that's going to hit those levels. Like Kagurabachi, sure, it could hit high levels, but none of us are sitting here like, okay, we know, okay, these are the next things that are just following up JJK, My Hero, etc. These are the next things that are going to hit. That's kind of what we've been talking about today, and we kind of all feel like we're at a point, like was said earlier, compared to after Yu Hakusho Dragon Ball ended, in the 90s or whatever, that like to me it's going to have to be something different, like a Frieren, because Frieren is a shonen as well, to kind of take on kind of just a different way of telling the story, a different in terms of fantasy. I think that those things, like we saw with Frieren, even how it blew up, I think that may be the next transition that we're kind of falling into now, where maybe it's just not going to be even like a remember from TK was talking about like Witch Hat Artillery or whatever, like stuff like
Atelier?
That. Maybe. Yeah, Atelier.
Is it Artillery or is it Atelier?
Atelier.
I think it's Atelier.
Really? Oh, I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
I mean, you just been saying the ER. Oh,
yeah.
No,
yeah, wild.
I'm not even trying to
Taking
put
out
that
of
in.
context.
No, that's wild.
We're gonna see this on Twitter in a few minutes.
That's crazy.
No one clip that.
That's crazy.
No one clip that.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I see what you're going for, River.
I think a series just needs to have a weekly. I think what makes like these other series that are ending now like so just like constantly in the conversation is because they are on a weekly basis. And I just don't see as much Frieren as I do like, I mean, it's considering JJK is ending right now. Is Frieren's manga still going?
I think they're on hiatus right now.
On hiatus. Okay, that makes tons of sense then. It makes a lot of sense. It was on hiatus during the anime's first season?
I think the second half of it was on hiatus during the second half of it, and then it came back for like a chapter or two, and now it's back on hiatus.
Got you. So that definitely doesn't help its case.
So that's why the hype is cooked, I guess.
The hype is, that's what I'm gonna say.
Well,
like,
I'm
not saying it's cooked.
Most
for
of
the manga
hype,
specifically.
Not even, because most of the hype that we'll see, especially after like hopefully we can get like anime numbers eventually, but like for all intents and purposes, like a groundbreaking anime adaptation for Frieren, usually the way that we'll see it like trickle down to manga is back volumes. So people just going back and like catching up to the series.
So we just won't even know yet.
That's true.
Yeah, people won't even know, because like that's what happened. Like Demon Slayer ended in 2020, yet sold 82 million copies. It's because people were just catching up to it. Same with JJK.
But once we see the numbers, we'll know if the hype is there or not.
And I think right now, I was looking at the manga sales the other day because I was updating this video that should be up today, but it won't be.
I don't even think it's just strictly about manga sales. Obviously, that's what we want to go back to, but I think it's just a marketability outside of manga. Like, it's everything that's being pushed towards you. Like, again, going back to like clothing or just different things. Like, you'll walk outside, and since anime is becoming a lot more popular within the last like 10, 15 years or whatever, you're starting to see a lot more people. It's becoming more normalized, and it is normalized now. I don't want to say it's becoming because it is. I mean, there's definitely still a few people out there that definitely think it's weird. I just had that conversation. I just had that conversation literally like 2 days ago from people that I work with, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm never even gonna try this because it's like the most weird thing I've ever like even seen in my life." I'm saying like, "What have you watched?" They said, "I watched 2 episodes of Naruto." I said, "You know, there's an anime literally for everybody. Like, there is something anybody can get into, and you're just like denying it because
they still just view it
cartoon.
as
exactly."
Not even just a weird Japanese.
It's just
cartoon.
a negative. It's just a negative connotation people have because they're not educated on everything. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But at least you got to give it a fair shot.
But that's anything animation, to be honest with you. Like, people still do that for, like, if you tell someone about like Arcane and they're like, "Oh, it's
man,"
it's
but
then it'll be the same people. It'll be the same people that were like say all that stuff and be like, "I loved Aladdin growing up. I loved like the Disney movies or like."
But that's how they attribute it.
Lion King, Toy Story, Nemo. Like,
that's how they attribute it with their childhood. That's why Disney is trying its best to reformat these animated stories into live action to make it seem for grown people, to make it seem for adults.
But why are we doing that now though? Because Disney's been doing that. We've had Disney animation for the 30s, since the 30s.
Because they're starting to see that they can't. Well, first off, they want to make more money. You make more money by not just appealing to kids.
That's very true. I do agree.
Disney adults.
That's number one. But number two is for the past, well, not past, but like from 90 to like 08, Disney was seen as the animation studio, the animation company, the company for kids, the company that the place that every child wanted to go to. The movie that every child wanted to see. So how do you break out of that, and how do you get more real dollars, more adult dollars? You age everything up, or you
That's true.
do it in a format that adults want to see. And that extends to anime too. It's the same reason why even in Japan, like as soon as you see a manga go successful, you see an anime adaptation, but you also see a live action adaptation. You also see a play. The same stigma is there. We just don't see it as much.
But I mean, I kind of like, yes, I think that's like not the big dollar, but I do think, I mean, Inside Out 2 just did like what, $1 billion?
Yeah,
$1 billion.
And trust me, I get it. And they're wrong. Like, they're wrong. Like, number one, there's enough money.
I think they just have enough money to do whatever. So if they want to appeal to people that love only live action stuff, they can do that. I don't necessarily think it's always the best move, especially with like Mufasa. I saw that trailer and I was just like, why do we need this?
It's so stupid.
We don't need this.
It's so stupid.
You can put your money anywhere, but at the end of the day, Disney has money for anything. So
that's the second next video, by the way. That's why I'm quick to answer these, because I just recently recorded that video on why Disney is destroying animation. But to follow up with the Frieren stuff, I think at the midway point, Frieren was like second in best-selling manga of the year, and that was without. I think it has like one volume that it's dropped in the past year. So that
doesn't help.
Yeah, that doesn't help. But and to be fair, it's still pretty close to JJK, which I think JJK has like the people who have caught up to JJK have caught up, because the other people are gonna watch videos on it. But what's it called?
I think JJK is a series you should just read though. Like I don't know why.
The thing is, he doesn't like reading. That's what it is. He doesn't like reading.
I told you it's for the content.
It's content. Now, I guess the other question is, everything has
Use
to be
that as an
content, but
excuse.
you know, you gotta make content.
Well, I decided I wanted to make this content because I want to catch up for the pod.
I'm not gonna agree you. I'm about to say I'm not gonna agree you for that. But well, I say that to say that I think there is a world where, whether it's Furin, whether it's Witch Hatatelia, whether it's Dungeon Meshi, maybe Kaiju number 8, maybe Don Don or whatever. There is a world, or Blue Box, I guess, too. There is a world where a non-Weekly Shonen Jump or a non-action show is the next thing that pushes the medium forward or pushes the genre forward and whatnot. But I don't think it's as likely as like.
I don't think that's the case. I just think I think there has to be not saying any of the series you just mentioned are bad at all, but I'm just saying like to be when we the conversation is one end of an era getting to the next one. What are the series that are going to be the faces? What are they going to be in the weekly conversations? What are we going to be seeing so much of? And right now, again, to me, it's only Kagurabachi. Sakamoto Days is manga, yes, but I already gave my claims for the anime. I do think it's just going to be a dry period until we get something else. I mean, there are a few other mangas that I've been recently checking out that are in different magazines that I do think can have potential, but it's just like we're not even at chapter 50 yet for most of these. So it's like something's going to need to build up to the point where it's like, I just think they need to throw into, like, again, that's why they're holding, this is the whole reason why they're doing that whole, Horikoshi did all that artwork and they're doing that whole thing is because
the prize and stuff.
The prize or whatever for the manga, because they need another one. They need another two at least, honestly.
And they could have had it. I personally think, like, I agree with everyone who was making the. I remember when iPatch Wolf retired the yearly State of Shonen Jump videos, and then everyone had their hand in it. The consistent thing with everybody that everyone was saying was that like Jump was canceling like way too many things that like just purely had potential, but because it didn't sell what Kagurabachi is now selling or what Ruri Dragon ended up selling in 2021 or 2, like they just axed it. And it's like, okay, nigga, you don't need to literally sell 100,000 in your first 3 volumes in order to survive. Like that shouldn't be the standard. And I agree with you. I think it'll end up being
100,000 in 3 volumes. I feel like is you should have 100,000 in 3.
No,
volumes.
I don't mean totality. I mean like one of your volumes to 100K. Yeah, and like that was essentially the standard, because like if it wasn't, then there's no reason why something like Phantom Seer should have been canceled.
I don't know why Phantom Seer. I mean, when my whole thing with Phantom Seer was that at the time I heard it was complications with the author, something with hospitality or something at the time, but I have no idea why that could again. That's
they put it on hiatus.
They could have, and why is Ruri Dragon an exception for a manga that had 6 chapters?
Because it did gangbusters with those 6 chapters. Like, because it was the lightning in the bottle. And to be fair,
the fact that it had that big of a hiatus is insane to me. Like that, like
a year and a half in Weekly Shonen Jump. The only mangaka that we've ever seen do that is Tagashi.
Yeah,
like that's it. And you mean to tell me that this person who had 6 chapters got that privilege?
I love those 6 chapters, though. I'm not gonna say I didn't like.
They're great.
Yeah, but I haven't picked up the series again because I was
out of it.
Exactly, I'm out of it. Like I'm not.
I've read more Boruto than Ruri Dragon in the past 2 months. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That's the direction, though.
I guess I do want to just kind of branch out the question, because I know this is something that we did talk a lot about in a podcast that has unfortunately not come out ever, and whatever will. But I wanted to pivot this. We also have Alex here, so I want to get his opinion, because I know he hasn't had a lot to say in the manga realm. But in terms of the end of an era of what we've kind of had, like, what are our thoughts on this era as a whole? Like, what did we think of it? You know, JJK now ending as well. We previously had the conversation. JJK was not, it hadn't been confirmed it was ending. We kind of knew it was going to. But obviously, My Hero, Final Stretch, One Piece, we've had Demon Slayer end not too long ago. A lot of these anime are even coming to a close as well. One Piece and its final saga, etc. Like, what do we think of this era? Alex, I want to pose it to you too. First, on get your thoughts on it. As
Like, what am I thinking overall?
Yeah, like now that the era is coming to a close, like what do we think of the era? Do we think it's time to be done? But whatever you kind of whatever thoughts you have.
I don't really think it's done yet. Then we start continuing mangas. I think with JJK, I'm glad. Don't really care about it anymore. Getting that same feeling with the shit with Demon Slayer. It's just the only thing that was exciting for a bit was like the JJK leagues every Tuesday, getting to see that, and then like, all right, cool, the story's progressing. What's his name? My boy Yuji's not a fucking fraud. I'm glad about that. Megumi can suck my dick. I'm glad he's a fucking fraud. Anybody who's a Megumi fan, yeah, you're just a fucking Sasuke fan, so suck a dick. Automatically. He's not coming back. All right, let's get that straight. He's not coming back.
You want us to get that
real quick. I'm gonna use the restroom, but I just pulled up something that is gonna like talk about the eras real quick. But go ahead.
Okay,
yeah. He's not coming back. That man's not coming back. So don't get your little hopes up and think like, oh my god, where's Megumi at? No, he's not coming back. And then people already seen the league, so they already know what's coming up next. But that's right now. I think the ending's gonna be bad because I think Gege actually does not give a fuck about his actual like work. There's been instances where I think he does not actually give it. Like, I think it's got to the point where like he's probably really starting working on like, you know how like people are like, all right, I'm tired of fucking making a story for this shit. I'm gonna start working on something else. And or the other thing, he gets enjoyment from like fucking people suffering, which sounds fucking funny.
Damn, you just think Gege is like the incarnation of the devil. What the fuck?
Bro, if you read the shit, it's just like too much, like too much shit. Like, come on, man, let me have a fucking moment. I don't really like give a fuck about JJK as much. I have no remorse for the main character.
I mean, but it's always been that. It's always been a series that, if you're referring to like downtime and like time for characters to like, in between arcs, in between action set pieces, sit with tragedy, whatever. Like JJK's never been a series that's like, oh, we're gonna look for these 5 chapters and see how Yuji feels about this guy dying. Like no one cares. No one has ever read JJK. So I don't understand. My thing, and I've heard your sentiment from other people, and to an extent, I think it's valid. In terms of Gege just like, quote unquote toying around with his characters and whatnot. That's what the series has been.
Yeah, it is.
The series has been to me. And maybe not his characters per se and like their life and death, but in parts, his power system, I think, is him just being, I'm gonna throw this at the wall and hope it sticks. But like people praised it. People were like, oh, it's so complex. It's like, I mean, it has a lot of parts to it. That doesn't make it complex because they don't interact with each other. Right. A complex sentence isn't a complex sentence because it has a lot of words. It's because it has different clauses in it.
I don't think it was too again, I think it was just a problem with like things that Horikoshi does really well and Gege does really well, like just vice versa. I think like a lot of people thought the power system in JJK is very like difficult to understand because it's just he doesn't know. I feel like Gege doesn't know how to explain it properly. Like it just wasn't explained to it, but it's not really too difficult. It's not too difficult, but I also think again, it's a weekly problem when you're reading the series weekly instead of like conjoined together. Like again, like these last 10 chapters I read with JJK, I think it was like 257 to 257 to 267. Like that jump was like, I think people were struggling to read it on a week to week because of how it was. Things are being explained, but I that's just like if I had to note some things down, I think just Horikoshi's really good at explaining like time of events rather than like fight choreography. Like I think fight choreography obviously goes to Gege, and then like time when things are explained, Horikoshi just does it really really well. But I want to jump to this thing about eras because I'm like trying to think about like, in my mind, I think we're going to be in a little bit of a dead period, and that was around the time that when Dragon Ball hit an end and like they hit a decline, how long that took, because Yu Yu Hakusho ended, Slam Dunk ended, Dragon Ball ended, JoJo's was doing its JoJo's was being JoJo's. You said, I believe you said he was like going on by part 4.
Something like that.
Saint Seiya wasn't also in it either, and that was also a big thing at the time during the late 90s.
Captain
late
Tsubasa
80s.
was coming up to its ending as well.
Captain Tsubasa,
series
in the late
there.
80s. But then the following year, after 94, you had Rurouni Kenshin and Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming in the magazine. And then just the following couple years, you had Shaman King, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, and then just another year after that, a year and a half, Naruto, Prince of Tennis, going into the early 2000s, Bleach, Ice Shield 21, Death Note, Gintama, Hitman Reborn, D-Gray Man, which D-Gray Man went to a different magazine, Toriko, Bakuman, Kuroko no Basket, and then also had Beelzebub, and I believe it's not on here, but I believe they had a few other series.
Yeah,
might be.
And to be fair, the magazine never, even at One Piece's height, even at Naruto's height, even at a time where Death Note's in there and Gintama's actually seeing traction, and then the big three are actually the big three, and then Toriko's actually getting sales. There was never a point into where the magazine was as healthy as it was.
Yeah,
during Dragon Ball and whatnot. So if we're entering another thing like that, and we can expect yet another drop off that'll never be seen, does that mean that a single series just never gets to Demon Slayer heights and whatnot, or JJK heights, or even has a community that could get to the point of having this attachment to Gege or whatever? Do you see that ever happening with something like Kagurabachi, or just going forward in general?
No, definitely not. I think again, it was just Demon Slayer hit the perfect time. It was September of 2019. Episode 17, was it 17 or 19 came out? 19 came out, and obviously it was still gaining traction before that. But that was you had Ninja, you had all these people they were also very popular at the time, tweeting about it because of Fortnite's success and whatever. Not that it has anything correlation to Demon Slayer, but they were popping people on the internet, and you got into a couple months later, a couple months later, the anime ended, and then COVID hit. And then that's when it was just the perfect time for that series to thrive, because everybody was inside. It was the most popping thing. People were talking about it. Manga was still ongoing weekly. It just hit the perfect time. I don't think we're ever going to have another thing like that because of what COVID was, personally. I think that was just a huge thing. And that also gave life to JJK's earlier years, and it gave life to My Hero Academia and Black Clover, Chainsaw Man, etc. But I do think, now I'm looking at it, there wasn't more of a time that was a year and a half where they didn't have a couple other series. At least the big notable ones are when Dragon Ball fell off, and you had Rurouni Kenshin and Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming to the magazine, and shortly after, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Naruto. So it was those, you know what I mean? Rurouni Kenshin and Yu-Gi-Oh! Got it going again, but when it started really hitting again was when those three dropped, and Shaman King as well. That's just 4 huge battle manga.
And even then, it took till 2000 for Rurouni Kenshin to, I think, hit. Fuck, I forgot what the circulation numbers was when I.
There was another series. I'm not familiar with this series. Ocean Engi. This was another series that's notably on the charts with, I don't know how to pronounce this. Soul Hunter. That's what it's translated to in English. I've actually never peeped this series, but it looks very familiar. But that was another series in a weekly Shonen Jump that was along the lines with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Rurouni Kenshin that kept the magazine alive.
Somewhat afloat.
Yeah. I mean, and then shortly after, Yu-Gi-Oh! Turned into a whole entire card game.
Yes. And in that time, you also have, and I don't want to stick on this for the longest, but you have other magazines competing with Jump. That's when I think Weekly Shonen Sunday and some Kodansha magazine were outselling, or had at the very least like had, because of course like FMA is coming out at this time as well. I'm blanking on eventually Fairy Tail, but that's later. I'm forgetting what series in the early 2000s was coming out in another magazine at the time. That like Nana had outsold One Piece in like 04 or 06. And so like at this
04.
time you're starting to see
right.
that competition be broken up from weekly. I mean, actually start to influence like Weekly Shonen Jump, let alone the fact that of course you have like a shoujo craze that then influences the actual art and the artists that actually come through Weekly Shonen Jump, and how the art gets softer, the macho man starts to disappear, etc., and those trends and whatnot. And so I think that combining that along with the vitriol for these endings and whatnot, it could lead to a situation where River was saying earlier, where like, will people in the future still react to the traditional shonen tropes like they did? Will people still clamor for the traditional shonen storytelling like they do? Especially when now we're starting to get other older series, not shonen, or at the very least earlier shonen, be adapted into stuff like Vinland Saga. To be honest, now I know this is kind of coming out of left field, but like something that I realized with us talking about this is the fact that Vinland Saga just got an adaptation. Dororo just got an adaptation. We got a readaptation of Devilman and Devilman Crybaby. And like, this happened in 2018, 2019, and then Vinland Saga started in 2021. I think that with a lot of these older series, especially seinen series, starting to get more favor and more popularity, let alone what happens with like a potential Vagabond anime, I think that we could start to see a shift of, even outside of just the anime community, there being like not this single lane that you have to go down to as an anime or manga in order to see widespread appeal, because we're no longer looking for the the next big thing to just come out of shonen. Because like now these big seinen, these big shoujo, these big whatever are starting to be adapted. Like once people realize that like
I still don't think though like any of the series you mentioned really do.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying no specifically.
There's just something about Weekly Shonen Jump that like it is the pinnacle, and it obviously is gonna have ups and downs, but
Pluto
even
too,
like it's Pluto as well. Even it's like secondary, third liners, the other pillars outside of One Piece still, I feel like, are not in terms of quality, because I do believe a lot of the other series you mentioned are better in terms of quality, but in terms of like holding the fort down, or fitting the mold, holding the fort down for what this next era is going to be. I just think like, I don't know. I think it has to come out of Weekly Shonen Jump.
Now, what I would say to that, something that came to my mind, is I think that this era happens to kind of coincide with something that I know Augie mentioned earlier, with anime not having the same like stigmatism it had before, in terms of what people think of it, and more people kind of coming to anime and manga and like having caring about different things. Maybe you're not going to have as many people who are like just here for the battle shonen and stuff like that, which I think kind of gears itself towards that potential to have other anime and
but
manga
that's what you're speaking from the side of like someone who is more indulgent to anime versus people that watch like 2 or 3, because like the whole reason why Demon Slayer was like what it is not also it's for the normies, and it's not because it like, let's say like, because there was other series that were going on around that time that had a manga ongoing that did well, but because Demon Slayer, what it was, like it was very basic. It just appealed to everybody. It could appeal to the people that already love anime, people that are just getting into it, and people that have no idea what the hell anime is.
But
I think Weekly Shonen Jump just kind of gives that spotlight for other series to Like when you think of Weekly Shonen Jump, you think of mainly, at least from a, I just think like Battle Shonen is like what people like. I would love to see an era where it's not just Battle Shonen being like the talk of the town. I would love to see that, but I just don't think it's gonna happen
It's hard
anytime
to see
soon.
it. Yeah.
It's very hard to see it.
I think if it were any of them, if River's about to say what I think he's about to say, we're coming out of an era where, like, for our generation, like our age group and whatnot, the biggest franchises that were around, like us growing up. Of course, you have Marvel with superheroes and whatnot, and we have a manga that kind of coincides with that. In the West, we're talking about for a Western audience. We have a manga that kind of coincides with the popularity of that in My Hero. That, you know, capitalized on that, came at the right time and whatnot. The other franchises are fantasy, the Lord of the Rings adaptation, Harry Potter movies and whatnot. The things that kind of closely resemble that, especially in terms of systems, world, and whatnot, would be Fern. It would be Fern. And I think that there is an element of the fact that, like, people love fantasy, and like in an era where in the West we're starting to see more self-referential humor, more tropes and whatnot. Excuse me, more like self-identified, more meta stories, more I see you, yeah, you, the audience, yeah, you looking at me, I see the fourth wall. Like in an era where we're starting to see that more than ever, I can see, if there is any time,
Talking
it
about like
would be
Deathly
now for
Wolverine.
people to, yeah, that just that type of humor, not that movie specifically, but
Okay.
I can see a world where people are clamoring for, like, what's going to blow my mind again. And the thing that we know that is familiar but still has blown people's mind time and time again is fantasy.
Yeah.
It's Tolkien. It's things that are inspired by alchemy. It's things that are inspired by Middle Earth, the medieval, and whether that's Fern specifically or like the other two that are kind of thrown in with Fern in terms of being a new fantasy anime big three. I guess we have to see if they can break into that.
I don't even necessarily think it has to be fantasy. Fantasy, I mean, Lord of the Rings in general is my favorite franchise, just overall. But and I love fantasy, but I'm very picky with it. I just think it needs to be something that can create a new world. They can create a new world and build off of it. Like, it doesn't necessarily, yeah, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be fantasy, but something that can create a world and create interesting characters and expand on that. And that nowadays is almost
So
impossible.
hard to find. Yeah.
Almost impossible.
I wasn't even necessarily going to go down that road. No, I think I do agree with that as well. But I was going to say, I know this isn't necessarily a good example because it's in Shonen Jump, but I can't, like, I don't know a lot of like romance manga per se. But like, I feel like Blue Box, for example, in terms of like from what I've heard about it, Granted, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like somewhat of a basic kind of romance that has, you know, a lot of things surrounding it that, you know, is enjoyable, whatever, right? I'm not saying it's basic, but you know what
Yeah,
I'm trying to say.
It's a mixture of sports
But
and romance, but I think where you're going with is it just will never be. I mean, I think just it could be the best romance manga of all time. I don't think it'll be a pillar. It's just
but I,
romance is just not a genre that will be like the face of anything, personally, unless it's the face of romance.
I feel like with anime coming into to more of the mainstream, you have like your, you know, people who like the, you know, sitcoms and shit like that. Like maybe, you know, your anime equivalent with some of these romances per se potentially could like gear towards some of those people if they actually give it a chance. Because I think that's a possibility that if you have more of these mainstream people that come in that like those type of basic romance, like those basic kind of sitcom kind of things, and then some anime like that come around, maybe that could gear towards them potentially. I'm just throwing out other possibilities.
I do think that's kind of like I do think that's possible. I just think the general main audience, where if we take for example, not every single boy is gonna like And I know not every single boy is gonna like a battle shonen, but more than likely you're gonna have 10 kids in a room, and they're gonna be more geared towards not just kids, but well, I don't know how to explain this properly. I feel
I mean,
like it's just
you're
like
right.
almost it's just
It's
almost
a
like
universal
impossible.
constant.
Yeah, it's like a universal concept where I think battle shonen, and I'm not saying because like I'm a battle shonen junkie. Yes, I do enjoy battle shonen, but I love a lot of other different mediums and genres. But it's just I think the conversation for something that is in when we're talking big animes, next era, I just think like a battle shonen's got to be up there. It's like kind of impossible for it not to be up there. Just looking throughout the years and how everything's gone through, you look through like you think of the most nostalgic, you think of when you were growing up, you think of now. There's always battle shonen at the top. That's never changed, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But I would love to see other with anime becoming again. I keep saying becoming, but it already has become what it is now. I just don't think I could never see even with Blue Box, even if it was the most popular series in the magazine. I still don't think. Well, I don't know. Maybe if it was the most popular, if it was
I can
outselling
see it being
anything.
the two, like it, especially with us referencing like Jump in the '90s. There were two parts of that equation. It's Dragon Ball, which is the quintessential, the standard for shonen battle. I mean, battle shonen. And we have of course, not to the level of Dragon Ball, but in terms of who's going to be the pillar, we have the choice in Kagurabachi, which is the safest and which is the most evident pick. If there would be a stand-in for Slam Dunk, I would say Blue Box if it relied more on, or if it
Sports rather
delved
than
more into
love.
more into the sports aspect.
I'm not caught up
Because
to it, but I've heard it's been pretty consistent.
it's been consistent, but it's been consistently sidelining sports, with the
But
exception of like two matches, maybe.
yeah, but that's the whole thing. I feel like River was trying to get into. It's just like these other
Yeah.
demographics aren't really when people like you have to give people. I don't know. It's just universal, like you were saying. It's just a universal concept where it's like yes, people are gonna love it, but overall, more people are gonna love this than that, and that's just
Yeah.
how it is. Sports could definitely get up there though, and I mean that's just like it's like Blue Lock in its other magazine where it's like that's definitely a pillar
That's
and that's one of the I don't know what it sold last year, but I'm pretty sure it's top 10 if not top 5.
Oh yeah, it's top 5 consistently
I do.
since 22.
I think that Blue Lock is. I feel like if Haikyuu was coming out right now, then Haikyuu could even have had crazier, than it did. 'Cause I don't think Blue Box is necessarily, or not Blue Box. Blue Lock is necessarily the anime that's going to like appeal to as. I feel like Haikyuu could have appealed to more people than Blue Lock just because of the way that Blue Lock kind of is. But I guess it does fit the battle shonen-esque thing though.
I was gonna say I do think
there's
if
that.
Blue Lock and Haikyuu came out at the same time, I could see. Well, they're both my top 2 favorite sports series, and for completely different reasons though. Haikyuu is an interesting one. Like
Yeah.
it is very interesting. It's its own kind of thing. It is a sports series, but like in terms of the actual series itself, it's very to see it how well it performed. Like if it was in any other magazine, I don't think it would have performed as well. I think it's
Really?
literally just because of it being in Weekly Shonen Jump and being pushed towards people. It was pushed out like hell. It was in every like all the Jump games, all like the stuff, and it was like Haikyuu was in it. Like I don't know. There's just something about Weekly Shonen Jump that like appeals. It makes it more appealing to
I mean, because it
readers.
performed well. Like I think year one, it was in its top 15 like of manga sales.
I think it's just
2015.
hard. It's just harder to get people more interested in other magazines when it's not like Weekly Shonen Sunday or like Jump Plus. Like it's I don't know. Especially at least like 10 years ago or like 15 years ago when it was coming out.
Unless
Or when
Shonen
it
Jump
first came
falls off, if it continues down the path of falling off, then at that point people aren't going to feel the same way. It's like I feel like people are going to
That's
give
just
it
something
as
I
much
wouldn't put
time
my
as they can.
I wouldn't put my stocks into that though because again,
Yeah.
we still got like a listen, I would not put my stocks into Jump falling off unless if right, okay, let's just say My Hero, JJK and One Piece were ending, I'd be like, okay, yeah.
And what if they don't find anything else until One Piece ends? Then that might be.
But they still got Hunter x Hunter in that back corner, always
lurking. Hunter x Hunter is coming back, but not even getting into Hunter x Hunter and what it'll do for like 2 weeks before Togashi goes on another hiatus. The thing is that even though we're saying all this about Weekly Shonen Jump and like we're talking about the standard, and to be fair, like I said earlier, and I didn't even say this earlier, this month specifically is the first month that there will only be one series selling 100,000 sales in in manga in years, in decades, because there is not Blue Box and Sakamoto Days didn't sell enough to get 100. Blue Box sold 93, Sakamoto sold 85,000, of course. And then Kagurabachi sold like 73, and then there's no My Hero volume and no JJK volume. So that's telling. But there's also no other manga in the world, magazine in the world, that has like 10 series selling 40, 50,000 a volume. Like there's none. There's
that's
none.
Because like Augie says, people gravitate towards Jump. So I guess
and to be fair, there's series that like outsell One Piece, like Blue Box. Blue Lock outsells One Piece. Fern is outselling One Piece right now. But like aside from Jump Plus is the closest thing. But that's basically just Weekly Shonen Jump, but for more room and digitally, and like with an inconsistent schedule. That's all it is.
Yep.
Which it's still. I still want to put importance on the fact that it is not WSJ, because that's been common confusion on the internet right now, because people are like, oh my God, Shonen Jump's fine. They have Kaiju number 8 because they see it on the spine of the magazine. It's not, on the volume. It's not the same thing.
If people get confused with Jump Plus, Weekly Shonen Jump, Weekly Shonen Sunday. So it's like we have to, especially when like in the AniTube community, it's very, people sometimes don't know what they're talking about.
Because they especially me when I research.
Especially me when I first started, I was the same way. So I'm like, when I see the same mistakes, I'm like, bro, I was there. I was the same as you.
You just gotta keep reading. Just gotta keep opening shit. Just keep looking.
Yeah.
That's it. But and I'm trying to find it. I think I saved it in Reddit. I saw a few days ago. Not the debuts, but people actually had like sales comparisons of Weekly Shonen Jump and these other magazines. I'm going to try and find it, but it is closer than you would think.
I want to see what the time spent between that My Hero, Black Clover came out before My Hero, right?
No, 2 years after. No, a year after. Excuse me.
My Hero was 2014?
Yeah, My Hero's 14, Black Clover's 15, Demon Slayer 16, JJK 16. Not 20. Wait. Oh my God, 18.
2018.
Yeah.
No, you're right. That makes sense. I wonder what the time is between, but even because Black Clover, there's just, I think in the next, like, we need that same format again. We have Kagurabachi building on right now. Get 100 chapters or so. After that, with this competition or whatever, or even if that falls through, you're gonna need another series that has a power system, that has likable characters, unique art style, and it has a world to go off of. And you need to build that up. And you need at least, I would personally say you need to like at least 2 or 3. Most likely 2. 2's about right. But just in enough time until One Piece ends. Because if One Piece ends and they still don't have that kind of backbone, and Hunter x Hunter is,
hey, Hunter x Hunter can end around the same time as One Piece. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. That's such Hunter x Hunter is such an interesting.
Because if he's coming back now, he may just be like, you know what, I need to end this shit. Let me just get it done.
Nah, I think he's got too much in the vault, especially with like, that's why the series isn't over already. It's like he's such an expansive, like he wants to build his world. I feel like
to be honest, he can't write an ending.
Grinding it out.
Yeah, true.
Like he He just probably
he needs more people to help him, bro. Like if he had a team of people, I know, and it's just like if you could easily take in, I'm pretty sure people would be like, I'd love to work on anything you like, just like let me help. And
his wife,
you can take get the Sailor Moon author mangaka to do it. But
I think I saw something. She was like learning the art style, if I'm not mistaken. I think
really. I've never seen that. That'd be cool though.
I mean, it'd
be that'd be cool though. I would double back on that. I would actually really love to see it. I mean, even just people that are even like assistants in the mag. Like if I was working at Jump, I'd be like, look, this One Piece is ending, Togashi. If you ain't gonna start pumping out these chapters and we got nothing else coming out, there's no creativity, we're gonna have to work with what we already got. Let's get some assistants that have already kind of built up a name for themselves from these other series. Let's get them on your series, give them ideas, or have them give you ideas. Take what you like, take what you don't, and let's start like getting like some sort of a rhythm going. Because if they keep taking these hiatuses and coming for 10 chapters and then leaving, and it's just like, bro, that's not how you keep a consistent series.
And
found
actually,
what were you looking for?
So actually, is there a way to share
Black Clover after I mentioned? Yeah,
I don't think I can show it here. But
we need another Black Clover to My Hero Academia year to year kind of
level
series. Like if we get 2 of those in the next year and a half, 2, that's going to give enough time for One Piece to comfortably wrap up and then have these other series build up.
That's even my thing with Kagurabachi. I don't know if I ever see Kagurabachi. Like, look at these numbers. Just put this into perspective. Kagurabachi is one of the more successful like things to come out basically since these 2 have come out. Like the only thing that was more successful than Kagurabachi when it first came, it was like Undead Unluck. And then like I mentioned before, Ruri Dragon. But like we're talking about Sakamoto and Blue Blocks doing this, and we're expecting it to jump to this post anime. Now, to be fair, My Hero was selling like, I think the most My Hero had sold pre-anime took 2 years to get to its anime. So I think it might have sold like 150 peak, maybe 200 peak. But like, we're saying that Kagurabachi is going to get to here.
It doesn't necessarily have to get there. It just necessarily needs to do the format how it's doing within the 47. Like, in my eyes right now, the sales don't necessarily matter completely.
Yeah,
in terms of the culture. It's the whatever is going on in the manga, and they're doing it well within the 47 chapters. Obviously, time and place is gonna like accumulate to how well your sales are gonna do, and just that in general. But the formula is there, and we're not even at 50 chapters yet. Give it to 100. Let it get that anime announcement. It's gonna start grossing up higher and higher and higher. And I just think like,
I do hope.
I hope. Yeah, I mean, as long as it keeps doing what it's doing. Because
these are the next most, just in terms of sales. I mean, we don't have much data aside from that. That's why I just jumped to the sales. I know it's not the end all be all. Weekly Shonen magazine. This houses Blue Lock, Hajime no Ippo. This is the
7 Deadly Sins spinoff.
7 Deadly Sins sequel. Continuation or sequel. Shangri-La Frontier, as well as some others I can pull up on the side. They circulate, or at the very least, their series, I believe this is, circulate 370. But this isn't how many the manga actually sells. This is just... oh, no, actually, never mind. This is how much the manga actually sells. Weekly Shonen Jump sells about 1.1. Wow, One Piece outsells the manga. Insane. They sell about 1.1 monthly, which is actually more frequent than One Piece. So yeah, to be fair, compared to Weekly Shonen Magazine, which is the next highest at 370,000. So about a third.
Bro, look how much Freerun outsells its magazine by, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, this is and it was doing a lot of this pre-anime. To be honest with you, it was already in the top 15, if not 20, pre-anime.
Now, I just wanted to make this point because it's something I noticed. I would assume that Kagurabachi will have a big jump after JJK is done and after My Hero is like completely done in terms of.
Well, yeah, if people are
sales.
done, I mean, JJK is still going to continuously keep getting sales. Same thing with My Hero Academia, and it probably won't outsell either of those two
for some years,
for a
to be honest
while.
with you.
Same thing with Blue Box and Sakamoto Days at the moment. Like those are drastically, just because the series ends doesn't mean people aren't gonna just not,
Yeah, no. River Haikyuu is
stop
still
buying.
in the top 25 of manga sales this year.
Yeah. And then
because people
yeah.
are just buying backlogs.
Mhm.
And that will continue with now in terms of volume to volume, yeah, they just won't exist. But
I'm saying Kagurabachi will still jump. You know what I mean? Like, and it might not jump them, but it'll jump up.
It'll definitely jump up for sure because people are definitely
it may.
The people that already
gotta read
collect
something,
the people,
you know.
there's the people that have already collected everything. They're gonna move on to the next, and that's not a lot of people, but it's definitely people that are like diehards of the magazine are definitely gonna jump onto the next, and that's what we've already been seeing on Twitter, for example, at least here on the West.
Yeah, in the West, yeah, and that's also the thing about these numbers. These are Japanese numbers. These are Japanese sales.
Yep.
This is Japanese circulation. This does not count what we do. This does not count what we buy. My only worry is that, much like we see in sports, when the GOAT dies, or when your GOAT dies, so does your fandom.
No, those are my goats. Just clarify that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't necessarily think the fandom will die. Like, for example, Haikyuu's fandom isn't dead. It's just they're like, we're reading other things. We're not gonna keep. Well, we're not gonna keep.
Very rarely is it where, and granted, you're right in terms of like, if there is literally a successor to JJK's audience and fan base, Kagurabachi is the next logical conclusion. That's why you're seeing a lot more conversation about it.
I think I get what you're saying now. I think yes, the fandoms will die, but I think like that doesn't mean the sales are gonna die. People are gonna stop talking about it less because there's not much to talk about.
No. I mean the fandom, like right now, the people who buy My Hero, the people who buy JJK, also like by proxy read part of Weekly Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
Like they don't contribute to this number, but they contribute to the overall like Weekly Shonen Jump is successful because it houses these series.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of times, like they're like
pick up in the magazine at your local 7-Eleven in Japan.
Yeah. So there are people who, when this dies, when this is gone, they're just not gonna read manga anymore.
Nah.
No, I don't think. I think they're gonna read it because I have something on that. The people who mainly read JJK are people who don't really watch anime, and you could look at the statistics.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So if that's the case, then why would we expect them to?
Yeah, this is Japanese. This isn't. I feel like this different between the West and the East.
In the East, we've seen the reason why you have that drop off. Mind you, like I said, 20, 30 years ago, this number was 6 to 7 times bigger. Where did those people go? They just stopped reading manga. They stopped buying manga, I'll say. They stopped buying Weekly Shonen Jump because their series was over. It's the same thing we see in sports and other fandoms. We were comparing the fandom and the reaction to JJK's ending, to My Hero's ending, to like a player that gets to the finals or a team that gets to the finals and then they just lose. I'm going to make a similar comparison. When Kobe retires, when MJ retires, when Jordan, when LeBron retires, there is a section of fans that you would assume are basketball fans. No, they are LeBron fans. When LeBron's gone, so are they. When JJK is gone, so will a lot of this 900,000. When One Piece is gone, so will a lot of this.
No, One Piece makes a lot more sense, but I could see it being drastic for One Piece. JJK and My Hero could be like a chip. No, it could be definitely.
I think it's a chip.
They're both ending around the same time, actually, so it is going to be a hit.
The thing is, when you look at the statistics, people who read JJK are the same people who don't really digest anime or manga as you usually do. If you look at it online, half the people who read it or watch it are just regular people, regular bros. Like a guy who doesn't know who Naruto is, but doesn't know who Yuji is. So the way this circulates is that like one of your friends reads it and tells you about it, and it continues from one friend to another friend, another to a friend. And then the thing they have mostly in common is they rarely watch anime. They don't know who Naruto is. Some people know who Goku because Goku's worldwide.
Okay, that they probably
Relax.
know who Goku.
Relax. There,
Ichigo. They probably don't know who Ichigo is.
I know Ichigo. They don't know who Ichigo.
No hate on.
Relax over there. All right. But overall, I think they're gonna lose a chip on it, and then a lot of people are gonna be like, "All right, I'm gonna go somewhere else." That's gonna find that one friend that recommended JJK. He's gonna find that another anime. He's gonna tell their other friends who barely watch it, like anime and manga, like, "Hey, look, this is the same thing. Let's watch this," and like continue. That's how it continues, in my opinion. It's always like that one third party group that doesn't really digest anime or manga that much. It's just they're gonna be watching it somewhere else now.
Fair. Just to update, more series that are in Weekly Shonen Magazine that I forgot. Gachiakuta, Go Lose Ranger, Rent a Girlfriend.
Oh,
and
how did I forget about Gachiakuta, man? Gachiakuta is another series I think is gonna do really well. That's not in Weekly Shonen Jump in terms of the anime. I think it has that style and appeal to at least do. Well, we can say
it'll get the cool factor. I think,
it can represent the. And you know what else has the cool factor that I think just never hits those levels is its predecessors, Soul Eater, Fire Force.
Yes, and that's why I think
it'll do that same kind of level. Like
yes,
it's not like it's a level below, maybe 2, but it's still up there. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not that okay. At least we good
type shit.
It's like One Piece is on top. We know that. We know One Piece, Blue Lock, whatever. You got JJK, My Hero. I mean, I would throw JJK right now up there. But,
yeah, no, it's
then just a step below them is like that Soul Eater, Fire Force, and now I think Gachiakuta. I actually prefer Gachikuta's art style compared to, that might be a hot take, compared to Soul Eater and Fire Force by Kagurabachi, or that's the author or manga of Gachikuta, not Okubo. The Okubo's the manga of Soul Eater, Fire Force. But I do think that's a series that actually could come up and sneak its way once the anime comes out, for sure. Depending on what is it? Is it Bones?
I believe it's Bones because I heard a lot of comparisons to My Hero.
Yeah, it's done by Bones. Yeah. Hey man, I'm hoping for the best, but Bones is hit or miss.
Mm-hmm. Hit or miss right now.
Hit or miss. From what I saw though, like the screenshots or whatever, not the screenshots, but the atmosphere, because you see in the teaser trailer, you see like a bit of the atmosphere. It looked appealing. I mean, it didn't look like it was like just a normal blue. Yeah, it does have a lot of chapters, and those
we don't know which
it has an established
it within Bones though.
It does have an established. It looks like not anybody who does My Hero, or it looks like something that is going to be good from what I'm seeing.
That's fair.
Like that, I mean, these are just teaser, and I mean, again, when we get like teasers, we're like, oh wow, this is going to be the final thing. But this could just be like an AOT Mappa situation, because in that first teaser for Mappa, it looked phenomenal, and in the anime, it was just something that was just like whatever. For example, when Aaron puts on the jacket in the teaser versus the anime, is like night and day. So it could be something similar to that, but actually I'd probably bet my money on this was like, okay, we have this teaser trailer coming out, we need you to put your heart and soul into these couple shots
so you can go home and then come back for 9 months straight.
I hope it's good though, because I really think the power system is different. It's obviously inspired from a lot of its predecessors, but I like the character designs, I like the interactions, I like the world, and it has a unique power system. I think that's all you really kind of need to get the ball rolling for a battle shonen. If it was in Weekly Shonen Jump, it would 100% be up there. 100, and that's another claim I have. It's just like, again, if Haikyuu was in a different magazine, I don't think it would have performed as well, just because of the reputation Weekly Shonen Jump has.
That's fair. The only thing with Haikyuu is that or with Gachiakuta, I haven't read Gachiakuta, so I don't know if there's things like literally within the magazine, within the manga, that like, whether it's like cursing or just like other forms of vulgarity or
the dialogue can't
censored or whatever.
I think the dialogue might be a little bit of an issue, similar to how like
Yeah.
Blue Lock kind of is within its manga to its anime adaptation. I
That'd
mean,
be
people
good.
just think it's kind of like edgy. It has that edgier factor for sure.
Oh no, I meant for the Weekly Shonen Jump switch or whatever. I know you're just saying a what if, but I'm saying like things
Wait,
like that.
what if it swapped to the magazine?
Yeah, I don't know, like if there are things that are in Gachiakuta right now that like if if it was in Weekly Shonen Jump in a what if world, that like it wouldn't exist in in the manga anymore. So like it probably wouldn't.
I mean, I think considering the time it came out and considering a series like Chainsaw Man was in the magazine, I think like you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean Chainsaw Man also
Man
swapped.
did push the boundary.
It definitely pushed the boundary
That's
tenfold for sure.
That's why they're going. Well, and Ayakashi Triangle, but that's for horniness, not for.
I didn't really read too much of Ayakashi Triangle, but I knew it is. I definitely, yeah, it had some things within it.
Is Haikyuu the greatest sports anime of all time?
Yes.
Sports anime?
No.
I think
it's.
I think Ippo would be.
Ippo, yeah.
I think I haven't read too much Ippo. I'm only like 100 chapters in, which is nothing compared. That's like an Alabaster for One Piece.
Yeah, I'm only like 30 episodes in too. But just from what I've seen and the hype it gets, I'm like, okay, I know that this could be in a conversation. Like,
I'm 30 chapters into Slam Dunk. So
I've heard from friends though that they prefer Haikyuu and have read both.
Okay.
Yeah, and are caught up to both.
So yeah, it might be Haikyuu. It might be.
I don't know. Haikyuu is just the quintessential sports series in my eyes.
It is.
I mean, Slam Dunk as well. But I've actually never read Slam Dunk, or watched it. That's one sports series I need to check out for sure. It's one of the big series.
That is a fact. I guess
shout out to
we could
the
get
Big
back.
Ten in chat. Shout out to the Big Ten.
We could get back to this question from earlier. Question for the pod: what type of works do you want Gege and Hori to delve into genre-wise? Do you want sequels to already established works and universes, or new series?
New series. We've already seen how when they try to stay in the same world. I mean, to be fair, I like Burn the Witch, but I don't. I
really
like Bleach.
Vigilantes.
Yeah, Vigilantes is good.
Really like Vigilantes.
Man,
it's only because it gives me stuff that My Hero doesn't.
Like, there's nothing in JJK's world that wants me to.
Have like a sequel.
I don't think that's possible.
Maybe a
like,
past, like I mean, I'm not.
My Hero makes sense because it's a world filled with heroes, and they establish that there's heroes in the mainline manga, Stars and Stripes, for example, that come over from the West. And even though that doesn't take place in the West, there are events that happen in the West and Vigilantes, and there's backstories for other characters. It's just Vigilantes makes sense, whereas JJK, it sticks to its main story, and it doesn't really surface outside of Japan. So
yeah,
would past make sense or no?
Does it have to make sense? No, of course not.
Like I'm saying, would doing like a past like sequel series, like in the past, like a prequel.
A prequel, I guess. I mean, I just would need a pitch for it. I can't think of anything too much for it. I mean, that's the same thing with like Burn the Witch. Burn the Witch is a completely new thing. We had no idea of.
Did Sukuna get a backstory like?
No, bro. No.
Wait, what'd you say?
No, bro.
Sukuna.
Sukuna's
raps. Why do we know his character though? There's nothing gonna be. There's no morality. There's no human. Like, there's nothing that's gonna be like interesting to his character.
Unless he changed, maybe.
Really? No. From a current manga's reader's perspective, especially within the last couple chapters, this motherfucker's been like this, bro. He does not care.
Yeah, no.
Maybe like a past chapter where like they follow him how he became the king curses, I guess.
And also, I
feel like that could be a light novel or something.
It
just
that too. Yeah, they would
5 pages.
I guess if he hasn't wrote it yet, why would he write it? You know?
Exactly. Like Gege doesn't write like complicated, complex, morally great character. Like, he doesn't do that. So like
And you know what? You know what could get a prequel series after it ends though?
Okay.
One Piece. Yes, sir.
We already have you this episode saying
I'm just kidding.
You would riot if it was the map to the two piece.
I don't want anything after
the zero
One Piece
piece.
ends, but there's definitely
Zero
the zero
piece.
piece. There's definitely some things that won't be. I mean, for the most part, he's kind of fleshing, bro. I just can't. He's just doing his thing, man. He's just doing his thing. He's got side stories and light novels too, and Boichi's also a prequel. I mean, we basically already getting information on prequel though. Like that's the thing. I feel like everything he's trying to do is
the world is so
already
fast, right? Like
there is no. It definitely no for sure. There's definitely something that's like that would like. I mean that just would never. I mean they could also do a movie. They could do so much stuff, bro. There's One Piece has the budget. I mean even when it ends though, let's be real. When One Piece ends, if we don't have these back other series that are like catching up, you already know they're gonna spam that shit until they get what they need.
If I was even presented as an executive of Jump, a prequel idea for a series that has been in publication for 30 years,
they would want it, bro. You know they would.
What the fuck were you doing for 30 years? Like the whole point theoretically of writing for that long is to flesh out, especially the lore.
But the thing is, the world is so big, and he's made that apparent that it's like almost impossible to.
You would just tell another story.
Yeah, we just tell another story within his world.
Yeah, and at that point, you're just Marvel and DC, to be honest.
Exactly, but I mean, if at that point, if they don't got what they need at the time, I mean, speak for yourself.
Oh my god.
Speak for yourself, bro. I love that world, bro. That's my whole point. That's the whole thing I love. And I'm pretty sure I mention this every time I'm on, or just in general. I just love when a series can really expand on the world. And if you can give me more of that and I'm already in love with it, why am I gonna? And that's why I didn't like. That's when I was starting to love Full Metal. I actually started like really get into it, and then it ended. Oh yeah, there's this whole other part that you didn't need to tell us at all. You did not need to say that, but you're just gonna leave that there for us to never get. And that's just like one of the things I disliked about that.
When he went to the real world, you talking about that part?
Yeah, the other half of the world. Like there's an entire another expansive like, and they show the map.
I wanted to see Nazis.
I wanted to see
more
Nazis. I wanted to see everything.
That's probably like the funniest shit I've ever seen in anime, because like I watched Brotherhood and then I watched Full Metal Alchemist. And so I did at this time, like I wasn't even like on the internet for like anime and shit. So I was like, okay, let's see what Full Metal Alchemist ends with. You can see fucking like hydrogen blimps and shit, and it's like 1941, and I'm like, what is going on? And it just ends, and I look up and I look it up, and I'm like, there's other movies for this timeline. And I'm sure it's just Nazis.
See, a series like Hunter x Hunter, if it would have ended where the anime did, and they were like, okay, look, we're gonna continue this series going to what we already established is further, because he already did what he needed to do within the anime, but we're like, we got the Dark Continent and all that stuff too. It's like, that would be cool, but he's already still continuing the manga, so we'll get that anyways. Hopefully.
Skrilla said Tabata in sports anime. Oh my god.
Tabata in sports series?
I mean, apparently he wanted to write football or soccer manga. Like,
I mean, if he does, he does.
I'm down. I like his art. I like his art style. So I mean,
fuck you, man.
He can keep his characters alive in the sports series, you know, and nobody will get mad at it because it's a sports series.
Yeah.
Unless you write Blue Lock. We need death.
You think so? In Blue Lock?
Oh no, I'm just trolling them because
okay.
I don't know why people like. I've seen Blue Lock fans, and this is honestly just on the internet, act and proclaim that Blue Lock is just so much more mature than other sports series, and then that's why
that is the opposite.
It's quite the opposite.
Quite literally the opposite. It is a very edgy kind of sports series, like, and I love it. I love Blue Lock. It's a great series.
It's for 12-year-olds.
You don't like Blue Lock?
Oh no, I'm showing it.
You're trolling again?
Yeah, I'm trolling.
Oh, okay. I love Blue Lock. I'm not caught up, but I'm like 10 chapters behind, which is, I usually like to wait 10 chapters for a series and then I'll read it and then go back. See, I don't even know what's going on with Undead Unluck right now.
It's also ending.
It's also ending. Wow.
Pretty soon. Well, I mean,
sure...
it's facing the last boss, I believe, in its last arc. So
okay, I saw the undead. Well, spoilers. I saw the undead unluck kind of thing. I don't know if that was what I'm talking about or no. Am I spoiling? My fault.
I don't know. I mean, I don't care about spoil. I'm never.
I don't even know what that means.
It's just like the power system has to do with on something, on this, on that.
Yeah.
That's like the series title was announced.
Oh, fair.
Like in the series, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
We have to revenge.
Yeah, it's not much of a spoiler.
No.
Like spoiler, there's a last boss. Like I don't know.
It was My Hero Academia.
Bro,
that's what it felt. That's what it felt like, though. My Hero's ending felt like that. This was My Hero Academia, bro.
Yes.
I found the way in my luck was the Black Clover that set me through it all.
I don't even know what's going on Black Clover right now. When it switched magazines is when I stopped reading the series.
That's getting good. I read till the hiatus. It's pretty good right now.
Oh, it's on hiatus right now?
Oh, well, last time I read it was maybe 5 months ago.
Oh no, we got a manga. Oh wait, I forgot. It releases month. Oh, you're right. So I'm looking at it right now. 2023. Damn, it's taking like the Gray Man breaks, like 3-month intervals.
Monthly manga be so weird, bro. Like I just want to read more Mushoku Tensei, but it just comes out like so infrequent.
Yeah. Do the chapters be longer or like?
No. At least not Mushoku
Tensei. I'd assume so in a series like Black Clover. I would hope they're longer.
They are longer. I think after your hiatuses, you get like a shit ton of chapters. Like they're pretty quality.
Yeah, but in terms of like the weekly,
quarterly.
I mean, even I actually enjoyed weekly Black Clover just because the art style was never. I feel like he was always on top of it. He never had a problem with like JJK, for example. There was one chapter that was literally just chicken scratches.
Oh yeah.
I think it was like 160 something when he had to go on a hiatus because they looked at this shit and they were like, "What the fuck is it? Yeah, you're going on a break, buddy."
You said Hunter?
No, JJK.
Oh,
it was like around right before the Calling Games, like right before.
I knew talking about. Yeah,
I think I might. I remember reading the chapter.
It was a Maki chapter. It was like something with Maki, and it was like you couldn't even tell it was Maki.
Yes, because that was like her moment supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, leading to at the very least. So yeah, he had to get that straight. I wasn't reading like as it was coming out, but I remember like looking up like, why the fuck does this look like this? Because that's her apex for real. That's her. Man, God, I will miss that series. I will miss JJK. Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna miss the series. I'm not gonna miss the fandom.
You know, I won't miss the fandom.
Yeah, wait till it gets transferred to One Piece, man.
Personally, the fandom has pissed me off more than the My Hero Academia fandom has.
I think that's probably understandable.
I think it's very easy to avoid those My Hero fans. Or was.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that might be a reason. JJK fans are almost insufferable. Like, especially people that, like, only... Like, shout out to my homie Gray, but, like, he's, like, the only person that... He's, like... I think that's the only manga he reads. So it's, like, having conversation about it with, like, him is just, like... glaze. It's like my One Piece glaze, but like he doesn't read anything else, basically. And I'm like, bro, there are faults in the series.
The thing with that
is it's the greatest.
Have you ever had an argument with a JJK member? He doesn't know ball about any other anime.
JJK member.
You don't know ball, sir. I don't want to argue with you.
You ever get the chance to talk to Nobara? She's gonna lay into you.
This was all in the Jujutsu Kaisen.
This really was our Jujutsu Kaisen. That's what I hope. If they do that, then if he just says that, I would love that. I would just love it.
Tokyo Revengers.
I would love that. This was our Jujutsu Kaisen.
Tokyo Revengers.
Oh my god! I was trying to remember the series that like actually did that, and that's why everybody started memeing it. It was TR. Yeah. And I read that shit weekly.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And that had a good run of its own too. It had its own little run. It had its own thing. And it had a great first half.
And as soon as we all started reading that bitch, it just fell off a fucking cliff. Nigga didn't know what to do with
Like
newfound
that
fame.
the one arc after Mikey, like midway through the series, like this is a good way. This is a good way to kind of wrap it up. Can wrap it up around here.
And then they just kept going.
And you just kept going. You just kept going for no reason.
Oh my god! I haven't talked about this since I was in the moment reading it and like it was ending. So like talking about it past tense. Oh, I'm so glad I don't got to read that bullshit no more, man. Because I had to read. I had dropped it like basically when the Mikey shit happened, or when the series got extended. But then I read to the ending once it was ending, so I could make a video on it, and that shit was god awful.
You didn't make that video, did you?
I did.
Or did you? Oh, you did.
But it got like it got super banned.
Oh, really?
There's only been like 2 videos that I've made that have gotten like super banned from whatever. Mind you, this is when I had like 300 subscribers. So I'm like, damn, y'all hating like a bitch. It was that video and an ass class video.
What?
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, you did. I remember
got a
you making
strike for the ass class video, actually.
What?
I remember you making a Tokyo Revengers video, yeah.
No. I love ass class. I think it has one of the best most heavily not heavily, but like one of the most fully realized shonen endings that I've ever seen.
Oh, Tokyo Revengers really ended 2 years ago. I thought you made that video before it ended, but I guess it did then, huh?
Oh no, I made a video on it saying I caught up to it.
Oh, you didn't put it up.
But yeah, it got blocked.
We're not letting this shit slide. So.
I thought maybe you re-edited it and tried it again.
No. I made another one.
Anyways, man, I think we've been going. I think we kind of got everything that needed to be said for the most part. I am curious to see kind of what the next era entails as this one does end. I know I saw Archie earlier. Oh, until One Piece ends, the era isn't over. One Piece has spanned hella eras. We're not okay. That's not One Piece is not an era. One Piece is an era. Then yeah, it's its own.
I mean, that could be a conversation for the time One Piece ends, but
nah, One Piece is just One Piece. It don't include. It's not an indie.
I would
era.
agree with
There's
you.
No era
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
It had its big 3 era, and then after those ended, it was just
yeah.
It's just still going.
Right.
It's just Unk.
It's Unk.
Exactly.
That's facts. It's just
Do they call him Unkoda?
They're just. This is crazy. Unkoda. Imagine it's like freaking Gege sees Oda. He's like, yo, what's up, Unk?
He just texts Unk what's Unk in Japanese? I'm about to spend time on this.
Hey man. Anyways, while he does that,
no,
Daigoku.
Yeah. Okay. You said what is it?
Daigoku.
Daigoku.
Wait, what? I said Unk, not university. What the fuck is it pulling up?
This was My Hero University.
So the way that
like another
is gonna end.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was thinking because I was looking through Cardiac's channel to look to the thing. But have you guys ever done a conversation on like more video games that would be like an anime?
We did.
We did it one time.
You guys done that before?
I want to, but these niggas don't play video games.
I play video games. What you talking about?
We did do a pod on it. It just did ass. So
Did do.
Well, that was before me too.
Yeah, that was before. Maybe that's why.
Augie, you have no idea how many what's a series that what's a Pixar movie that could get turned into an anime? What's a American animation thing? Like how many of these American animated pieces of work are like just rip-offs of anime or whatever? How video games and anime, blase, blah. What video game could get turned into an anime? What anime would be great as a video game? I can't get nerdy with these conversations because River like watches anime, kicks balls, and goes to sleep.
So this man is just like, bro, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You gotta get the intellectual part out. That's what it is.
You gotta explore more media. I've been like playing Black Myth Wukong, and I just finished a
That's
show on
gas.
Apple TV called Presumed Innocent too. Like that, I could have saw that whole series as an anime. So dope. And I mean, Wukong is just. I mean, obviously.
I mean, it's just Journey to the West. It's
just Journey to the West, but
yeah.
That's also another video I want to work on soon.
Yeah, don't sleep on River Busquets. That's why.
Don't be lying. Don't be doing that shit, bro.
Busquets.
River Busquets, man. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna take that.
Wait, what did he say?
What does that mean?
River Busquets.
Sergio Busquets, the footballer, man.
Yeah,
I have no idea that it. See,
one of the best center defensive midfielders of all time, man.
I don't know nothing about soccer or football or whatever, bro. Yeah. My best knowledge is Blue Lock.
Yeah, Busquets.
That's old dude that followed him to Miami. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
I did go see River play.
Right there, man.
90 minutes, and then I was like halfway out of it afterwards. I was like, I'm here to take pictures, and that's it.
Type shit. Anyways, though, man, we're yapping. So let us know in the comments what what you think the next era will entail. What manga you think could kind of be that next thing after this is kind of over. Let us know. Make sure to like, subscribe. Make sure to check out Augie's channel as well. Great content over there as always.
Yes,
you know
sir.
What I'm saying? We've had him on enough times. If y'all ain't subbed already, like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Crazy.
Are you hating?
You making that W content over there, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Next video out, hopefully next week, but
where he will expand on this conversation, right? That's the video, right?
Yeah. No. That's gonna be.
Gotcha.
No. The next video. Next video is more of a nostalgia trip, going down like. We'll talk about it after.
If you like nostalgia, you'll like Augie's channel type shit, and everyone likes nostalgia. So yeah, make sure to like, subscribe as we're trying to get to 1K. Go follow the Twitch so we can. I think we just hit 40 followers, so we can finally hit fucking 50 followers. We've been on the journey to 50 followers for
a while,
ever. But yeah, man, that's it. That's all from us, man. If anyone else any final words, this has been our My Hero Academia.
Eat pussy and read Haikyuu.
This has been The Flow podcast.
This has been our podcast. This has been our anime podcast, guys. We'll see you guys later. WPod, W guys, W topics. That's a fact. We love you guys.
JGK fans don't have no balls.